Good morning. This is XPulse AI Morning Mix. Today is Friday, April 3rd, 2026. We're hitting a blockbuster funding quarter, Microsoft's sharper pivot after its OpenAI reset, and the growing reality that compute is the new battleground. I've got Orion with me, ready to jump in?
Ready, let's do it.
We start with money, lots of it. Crunchbase News reported on April 2nd that foundational AI startups raised $178 billion in Q1 alone. What's driving a number that big?
It's capital concentrating at the base model and infrastructure layer. Crunchbase counted 24 deals totaling $178 billion in Q1, double all of 2025. Investors are treating foundation models like the picks and shovels, except the shovel is a data center.
Is this a sign the market is overheating or maturing fast?
Both can be true. The maturing part is that funding is flowing to teams with real distribution, compute access, and enterprise pull. The overheating risk is valuation gravity. If model performance or margins don't keep up, the come-down gets messy.
Who gets squeezed when funding pools at the top?
Mid-tier model shops and app startups without a moat. When the base layer is this well-funded, app teams either differentiate with proprietary workflow data or they become features. Also, my calendar just applied for venture funding.
Staying with the power players, The Verge reported on April 2nd that Microsoft restructured its AI organization under Mustafa Suleyman, explicitly framing it around superintelligence goals after renegotiating its OpenAI relationship. What changed?
Microsoft is signaling it wants deeper in-house control, model development, Copilot integration, and the enterprise commercial motion all under a tighter umbrella. The OpenAI partnership is still important, but Microsoft is acting like a company that can't afford a single point of dependency.
How does this show up for users of Copilot and Azure?
Expect more Microsoft-owned model options, more vertical tuning, and faster iteration inside Microsoft 365, because the incentives align internally. For Azure customers, it could mean clearer Microsoft Stack reference paths, not just bring whichever model is hot this month.
Does saying superintelligence here actually mean anything practical?
It's partly branding, but it also frames budget and urgency. Inside big companies, words like that unlock resourcing. The practical meaning is simple. Build capabilities that are strategic, not just a Copilot skin over someone else's model.
And Microsoft didn't stop at org charts. Windows Central reported on April 2nd that Microsoft unveiled 3 in-house models: MAI Transcribe 1, MAI Voice 1, and MAI Image 2. What are these in plain English?
A speech-to-text model, a voice synthesis model, and an image generation model, positioned for enterprise use and Microsoft 365 and Azure integration. Transcribe 1 covers about 25 major languages, and the pitch is speed, reliability, and control without leaning entirely on outside partners.
So is this Microsoft trying to replace OpenAI?
Not fully, more like creating leverage and redundancy. If you can do transcription, voice, and basic image generation in-house, you reserve premium external compute for the hardest problems. It also reduces vendor risk and gives Microsoft a negotiating chip.
What should people watch for as these land in products?
2 things: latency and governance. If these models feel snappy inside Teams, Outlook, and Copilot, they'll get adopted fast. And if Microsoft can offer stronger compliance knobs, data residency, auditing, that's a serious enterprise advantage.
Now the part everyone feels: capacity. Axios reported on April 2nd that Anthropic and OpenAI are escalating a compute war, Anthropic imposing usage caps at peak hours while OpenAI spends heavily on premium compute. What's the real story?
It's less about clever prompts and more about who can secure high-quality compute at scale. Anthropic is managing scarcity with caps. OpenAI is trying to buy headroom. If premium compute is limited, product quality and pricing start to reflect supply constraints.
For listeners, how does a compute squeeze actually show up day to day?
Rate limits, degraded performance during peak hours, or premium tiers that feel less optional. And developers may get nudged towards smaller models or lower-tier infrastructure, which changes reliability. Nothing says innovation like queuing for GPUs.
Could this reshape the market beyond just these 2?
Yes, if the best compute is reserved for a few smaller labs, either partner, specialize, or accept a quality ceiling. It also pushes demand toward orchestration, using multiple models strategically, because you can't assume one model is always available or affordable.
A few rapid hits to round things out. On the hardware side, DigiTimes covered Nvidia at GTC on April 1st, pushing beyond standalone GPUs with system reference launches for inference, CPU orchestration, and storage. What's Nvidia doing here?
They're trying to own more of the full data center recipe: an inference rack reference, a CPU rack for orchestration, and a storage reference architecture. The pitch is lower integration pain and faster time to deploy. If customers buy the NVIDIA-approved stack, NVIDIA becomes even stickier.
On the product side, eWeek summed up Google's March Gemini updates: more conversational search, personal data integration, plus new developer tools. What's the direction?
Google is leaning into context. Gemini that can incorporate personal signals and stay conversational inside search-like experiences. For developers, it's more tooling to build production apps, including workflow-oriented updates in areas like healthcare and coding.
And the information says OpenRouter is nearing a $1.3 billion valuation. Remind us, what is OpenRouter and why now?
OpenRouter is an API layer that lets developers access and route across hundreds of models, more vendor-agnostic model selection. The timing makes sense. Teams are going multi-model for cost, latency, and reliability, and a routing layer becomes the traffic controller for AI apps.
That's XPulse AI Morning Mix from XPulse for Friday, April 3rd, 2026. Share it with someone who'd find it useful. See you next time.